Hi everybody, Dean the Opinionated Asshole here. I've got a few different items to talk to you about today. I'm just going to talk about them briefly on this near Christmas time show. Now, I am an atheist. But that's not who I am, I just am an atheist. And what that means to me is not necessarily what it means to other people that call themselves atheists, and that's about applicable to anybody that actually calls themselves an atheist. My personal philosophy is basically that there's no proof of any kind of spiritual existence past this life in this life. That leads me to two different conclusions. One, it either doesn't exist, or two, it does exist, but it doesn't really matter. We're alive, and we should just be alive, and we should take care of ourselves and the people around us as best as possible, because this is our one chance to get everything right. Pretty much what it comes down to with everybody's religion, no matter what their beliefs are, nobody really knows. Somebody's wrong, and we're probably all wrong in one way or another. There are some aspects of atheism that definitely do affect me. One of the reasons that I am an atheist is because I believe that religion is a disease. Faith hurts people. I think that it destroys lives. The truth of the matter is that I have plenty of friends, plenty of people that I love, respect, and trust that are not atheists. They're theists. They believe in God one way or another. But I don't. When somebody says Merry Christmas to me, I say Merry Christmas back. Because even though I don't celebrate Christmas because of Christ, I still respect where they're coming from. I don't really see that as such a big deal. The problems that I have with Christmas and the words Christmas are when people try to put up nativity scenes on city property. I have the same problem if they want to put up the 10 Commandments on city property. I have the same problem with In God We Trust if it's in our Pledge of Allegiance or if it's on our money, because we're a secular society. We were set up that way, and I do not trust in God. And it's not that I don't trust in your God, it's that I don't trust in any God. If you guys have questions about that, if you want some clarity on what I believe and where I stand with my atheism, put a video response in there, put some comments. I'm fairly good at responding to my comments because I have 18 subscribers at the moment, so it's not that hard. But on to the meat. First day of Christmas, this douchebag gave to me a vlog talking about ectopic pregnancy. La 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 la. One of the biggest problems that I have with religion is that it creates kooky freaking people with some strange ideas. I understand the whole debate between pro-life versus pro-choice. There's some things about being pro-life that some of the pro-lifers go a little too far, like putting gigantic posters of aborted fetuses on box trucks. It kind of makes me crave spaghetti. Anybody hungry? You want spaghetti? And then there's this guy. He talks about ectopic pregnancies.
As a Christian, as a believer in God, I believe God can intervene. What I'm opposed to is jumping to the scalpel and cutting the woman up and killing the baby. Yeah, that's right. Waiting with medical supervision. There's a chance that the egg can actually set where it's supposed to.
Well, no, there's not. There's a minimal chance, it's a tiny chance, but there's a bigger chance that you're going to do permanent damage to a person. What an ectopic pregnancy is when an egg is fertilized and it implants itself in someplace other than a uterus. That's as simple as it is. It can be in the fallopian tube or, in rare cases, somewhere else. But when it comes down to it, it means that that embryo is no longer viable. And if it's not removed or taken care of, it's going to irreparably damage the mother. It could rupture the fallopian tubes in some cases and kill the mother. Or it could just make you infertile. But this guy, who's not a doctor, there's actually two different things about this guy. He's posting under VenomfangX. And this guy isn't VenomfangX. I don't know who the fuck he is. But this guy says that if you have an ectopic pregnancy, that you should, under doctor supervision, watch it to see what happens, to see if it passes from the fallopian tube into the uterus on its own. And then after all of those options are seen through, then you can go through the surgery or chemical illegal abortion. Now, I know some things about this. I've gone through an ectopic pregnancy with my partner, and it wasn't easy. The thing is, and you can go to the Mayo Clinic's website on this, they actually state very clearly that if you have an ectopic pregnancy, it is not a viable pregnancy at that point. That it needs to be taken care of as soon as possible. The damage to you, the potential damage to you and your reproductive organs grows exponentially. The fact of the matter is that the egg is not going to detach itself from the fallopian tube and move down into the uterus. It's not going to happen. So the point of you waiting is nothing. Kind of like waiting with the stick of dynamite lit in your mouth and hoping that the fuse just goes out on its own. Don't take my opinion for it. Talk to your doctor. He tries to put up some medical resources for you to go and actually talk to people, some pro-life physicians. In fact, he sends you to this web address, which is prolifephysicians.org. But when I went there, it was a website about John Benet Ramsey and how there's new evidence that they've uncovered that the police are ignoring and possibly covering up, blah, 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 blah. But this guy explains himself. I guess he explains himself, but he's wrong, and you certainly shouldn't take medical advice from YouTube. I hope I don't have to tell you that. In other news, I gotta thank Philip DeFranco for turning me on to this one. Philip actually covered this on his show about this cop. Now, there was a one of those flash mob kind of things to where on Twitter they advertised it, and they had a bunch of guys, had this impromptu snowball fight in the middle of the city, which, you know, of course could, you know, cause some problems. They had this undercover cop come up. The cop got hit with a few of these snowballs. Now, instead of being like, hey, you know, don't hit people with snowballs that aren't part of your snowball fight, he gets out of his Hummer and he pulls his gun. Pulling your gun, you can ask any cop, is last resort. They pull guns when they feel like their life is threatened. Not when kids are pelting them with snowballs. I'd have to say that the cop was in the wrong. The cop was wrong. And you can ask any cop about that. They'll tell you. If you'd like to comment on that one, go to Philip DeFranco's page. As far as Christmas goes, I hang out with my family. We all get together, we eat food, we laugh, and it's usually a pretty good time. If we're at one of my family members' houses that practice Christianity and Christmas means something to them via Christ, when they bow their heads, I bow my head. It's just a simple respect thing. It's their house. But when they come to Christmas at my house, we don't pray because I don't pray. And I'll probably have a whole other video on prayer. Just because I'm an atheist doesn't mean that all of my videos are going to be about atheism. I think that there's a lot of problems with people's reasoning skills. Most of my videos are going to be about that. I'm going to try to keep them fairly adult. Not as an adult. Fairly entertaining. And if you guys have an idea about something that you think that I should have an opinion on, if you send me a video comment, I'll actually feature the video comment. Or if you just leave a comment, then, you know, I'll give you a shout out. So yeah, I'm Dean the Opinionated Asshole, and I have a tree on my neck.